5 minutes to jump back in if the host drops out.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead, go live, and then apparently Johnny's live as well right now. But
yeah, I just saw that, and I'm like,
everyone's hanging out over there for now.
Everyone's over there. Well,
there's only 24 people watching him. But yeah, you have 60 views on part 1.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, 60.
I know.
That's nuts, man. That is nuts.
People are digging it.
That's cool, man.
I think we're live. We are back.
We are back. We are live. It's Canadian internet. What else?
Jeez, I'm a thumbnail on both of these. All right, now let's see if I can open this. And you'll probably hear playback for a minute.
Got 2 viewers.
I'm trying to get the chat up. All right, I think I paused it in time.
I had to
2 people watching, and that's probably you and me.
Yeah. Huh.
1 thumbs up. That's from me.
Okay. Let me have a look. See.
Oh, we got Amanda in the chat again. We have Sean Zimmerman.
Okay, I got to change the title of this because it says Thursday night live stream, but that's the only event I could pop in. I was trying to make another event, but I was just trying to get something.
Oh, I see what you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, just rename this and then create a new one for Thursday, right?
I'll just go change the title of it and call it part 2 or something if anybody wants to watch afterwards.
I think we're live and alive, Sean. I think.
Yeah. Apologies, everybody. I don't know what happened. I just disappeared. I had to did the reboot on the computer. That didn't work. Then I had to reboot the internet. That didn't work. And then I had to, my daughter who's on the internet 24/7, had to make sure she wasn't on. So
yeah. So step 1, just refresh your page. If that doesn't work, yeah.
Well, nothing worked. I don't know. That's weird. That's the second time that's happened to me where it's just, and I'm on my laptop, right? I'm not hardwired though, but like I'm literally 5 feet from my router.
You should still hardwire it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I mean,
just for future reference, because my understanding with Wi-Fi 2 is whatever the slowest device is that's on your Wi-Fi, everything else is going to slow down to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, like, for instance, because I don't use the chat on my phone, I turned Wi-Fi off my phone. So when I'm messaging with you there, when we're having problems, I'm just using data for that. Because, like, how much data is the text going to be? So,
right.
Yeah, we got Guitar Girl back. We got Sean Zimmerman. We have my sister.
Yep.
Thumbs ups, please.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming back on. This is going to be part 2, and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I did some live Q&A after you.
What did I miss, Ben? What did I miss?
We were talking about P90 pickups, actually.
Oh, man, don't get me started on P90s, brother.
Yeah, basically it was a question of what's a P90, compared to, say, a single coil.
Yeah.
His big, ugly brother.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the P90s. I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but I don't have it out. But I've got I bought a 2018 Classic. The 2018 Classic Les Pauls, that was their thing. They came with P90s in them.
Yep. Which
is literally the only reason I bought it. Because I just wanted that tone.
Well, you got to have a P90 Les Paul. You're a Les Paul guy. It's like...
And I don't know. You know what? I think I sent it to you. I'm not sure. I think you saw it. But there's a video now on the new Les Paul Juniors. Have you seen those?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm not big on the double cut.
I don't know, man. It's I'm getting that bug again. I'm looking at that.
I don't know. It's something. If it was a single cut, I might be all over it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what I like about it too is...
Hey, Bruce.
Oh, Bruce is back. Hey, Bruce.
I assume it's Bruce.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah. Could be a Bruce imposter. Yeah. Yeah. What I like about it is it's a wraparound bridge, but there seems, and I didn't really get a good look at it, but there seems to be a little bit of an adjustment on the bridge. So
yeah. I don't know if I have my junior handy or not. Yeah. Because it's basically a tailpiece. They put 2 bolts through it that you can adjust back and forth that will go up against your upright pull piece and just pull the bridge backwards or forwards a bit. So you have quote unquote some intonation adjustment. You know, it's better than back in the day when they didn't even have saddles carved into the top. Like, and I always tell people, you know, I'm like, do you know what the original bridge for a Les Paul looked like? And they said, what? I said, look at your tailpiece, because that's the original bridge.
Yeah. And that's actually why, because when I wanted a P90 guitar, I was originally looking at like Les Paul Juniors, and then I thought, you know what, I want some adjustment, I want some intonation, and then that's why I bought the Les Paul. You've got, you know,
the best of both worlds.
And then, but now looking at these and seeing that they got a little bit of an adjustment, I'm thinking,
yeah.
But my only thing with it is, like, right now I'm kind of in a nice place because I can pretty much take any of my guitars and I can do a whole 3 sets and whatever. Like, you know, they're versatile enough that you can play the whole night.
Right.
I don't know if I can get away with the whole night playing a Les Paul Jr. Like,
yeah, because you're like me. You know what you would be doing? You would probably be building a bigger pedal board, because you're going to have to change up the tone somehow. And if you can't do it with the guitar, you're probably going to have an extra gain pedal with an in-between sound or something. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, I don't know. I mean, as much the new. I mean, you know, it's a personal thing, but I really like the look of the new pickguard. I think it looks really cool. I just like the look of it. It just looks like a nice guitar. But, you know, it's a rock and roll machine, and you know, if it's a one-trick pony, which is what it really looks to be like,
right?
I don't know if it's going to work for me, right? You know, because
there's one trick. See, that's the thing, though, you know, because you think about most of the people that played them. Let's say like Leslie West. Leslie West sounded like Leslie West, and that's what he went for. It's not like he's trying to go for tonal variety.
No, he's playing one tone. Yeah.
And that's the nice thing, you know. Now, whereas you look at the Stones, Keith still plays his Junior, but he only uses it for a song or two.
Right. Yeah. I got to be able to cover everything from, you know, Green Day to Johnny Cash. You know what I mean? And
I hear you.
If I could do it all with that guitar, I don't know.
Yeah, I find, well, then again, I've done gigs where I've just ridden the bridge pickup on my telly all night. So, you know, and it's just, again, because I'll use 3 or 4 different gain pedals over the course of the night. And that's where I get my variety. And I'm just riding that bridge pickup all night.
Yeah. Well, I use, like, when I'm playing 90% of the time, I'm playing a Les Paul when I gig. And I use it all, man. I'm flipping switches. I'm playing middle position quite a bit. You know, I'll even play the neck quite a bit. And you know, when you're playing
both pickups for slide. I like the sound of low gain with both pickups for slide, because I do Man on the Moon, and it's a very mellow, so it gives me a nice mellow sound.
Yeah.
And same as, I'm pretty much insistent I have to use a neck humbucker for the hip song Long Time Running. I do all the lead work, and I love that you want that full neck pickup Les Paul tone, you know.
Yeah.
And we actually have a question. Is there a guitar out there? This is from guitargirlkb. Is there a guitar out there known for bad intonation? I would say the Telecaster gets a really bad rap for bad intonation.
Yeah, well, the old style, but with the individual, like mine has got all individual.
Once they switched to the 6 saddle, it became mute. It was a toss up. You want to intonate your E or your A, your D or your G. And other than that, intonation issues, Les Paul Juniors. Before they added in those micro adjustments, if they didn't drill those 2 pole pieces in perfect,
exactly.
You know, your intonation is set. You can't adjust the intonation.
Yeah.
But Guitar Girl, well, she's got a vintage style telly bridge, because you only have your 3 adjustment screws for intonation.
That's right.
You can wiggle, you can get a little wiggle room on those saddles. You're not supposed to, but you know what? If it means getting an intonator, I'll jack up a bridge. I don't care. You know, they're $20.
Yeah. No, there's and that's what put me off the Les Paul Juniors. It's like, that's what I was worried about, is the intonation of it, because nothing There's nothing.
Not all the vintage Tellys are compensated. I don't know how well this is going to come through on camera, but the bridge is just chunks of threaded rod.
Yeah.
You know, it's not even the straight pieces of brass, like it's a solid chunk. Not only do you have to worry about intonation, but string spacing, because you can see the string spacing is off between the A and the D, because you have to pick which slot you want to put the string through on the threaded rod.
Yeah.
You know, you're really, and as you adjust string height, it moves your strings left to right. You know, because they're going through on an angle through a piece of threaded rod. Thank you, Leo Fender.
Yeah.
I love Leo. He invented some great things.
Well, he did.
However, first of all, this pickup should be angled the opposite of the way it is. You should have more treble under the bassy strings and your pickup further forward under the... So this way you don't sound dead on top and shrill on the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, it should be more like, and same as the headstock should be reversed, because like a piano string, your bass strings on a piano are much longer than your treble strings. Not the opposite way around, Leo Fender. But again, I love the man.
Sure.
You know, but sort of like tremolo and vibrato. He does a vibrato bar or a tremolo bar, which does vibrato.
Yeah.
And then he adds, vibrato to an amp and calls it tremolo.
Yeah. Getting back to the P90 thing, the other thing that, I mean, because I have gigged with my P90 Les Paul quite a bit, because I absolutely love it. But you got to be really, really fast on that volume, man. As it's when you're soloing with high gain, as soon as I hit that tube screamer, man, that thing wants to howl. And I got to be real quick at making sure, that I'm deadening every other string.
Yeah, you don't gate at all.
What's that? No, I don't gate.
Any.
So I gotta be real quick with the hand to deaden any strings. Like if I'm holding a note for a long period of time, and then as soon as the song's over, I gotta hit that volume, because that thing will it'll howl. Yeah,
the bridge pickup in the new guitar is hot enough that I noticed through my VIP, the PV Viper that I have, even at bedroom volume, like at work, if I'm using high gain, it's feeding back.
Yeah, man.
And I'm not even, the amp's 4 or 5 feet away.
Yeah.
It's at voice volume, and it's just, way. I'm like, whoa, this is awesome.
Yeah. I just want to say hello to some of the other people that have popped in. Again, I apologize for my my internet issues, and I have to thank Ben for driving the boat while I was swimming in the ocean. Anyways, we got guitar.
That could have been a lead singer. Look at me, look at me.
I got Guitar Pit, Guitar Girl is back. Thank you so much. Amanda Coombs is back. Poo Ninja is back. Thank you so much. Dave's Art Guitars. How are you, sir? Who else we got? R2R3 is back. Old Man Dan, no problem. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, thanks everybody for popping back in. We're up to 15 viewers again.
Nice.
Ignore the name of the event. This is I had to. We're
moving quick, folks.
I had to jump into the only other live event. Thank God I had this one set up already, because for the life of me I couldn't set one up, a second one with this. But I'll change that title for anybody who decides to look at this later on in the replay. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody. But,
the compensated Guitar Girl was asking, the compensated style. It's like you have a round barrel that your strings go over, and they shave down the back edge one way on one and one on the other, so there is a bit of a stagger between them. You can also get some of them where you can actually rotate that bar a bit. They do put a bit of play in it, so you can shim it up further, say for one string over the other. Of course, you're pulling back your other one, so it takes a little more, because it's like you push one out, which pulls the other one back, and then you got to remove the whole thing. But at least it allows you a lot more compensation. Nice. There we go. Guitar Pit did it with characters even. Love it, buddy. Love it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating, and I don't know if you've come across this, Ben, but man, if I'm in a guitar store and I want to try out a guitar, and I tune it, and I hit a chord, and it still sounds like crap. And then I tune it again, and it sounds like crap. basically the guitars are not intonated properly.
Well,
it's
it's
like,
like
no way.
I get the rundown on this thing. I didn't set the intonation, but also for me, the nut height, because Travis doesn't know I love to shave the nuts right down to next. Like I have next to no nut action usually. And it took a good dozen passes with 150 grit sandpaper through each nut slot to get it down to where I wanted.
Oh man, wow.
Oh yeah, like the strings were kind of just say a third of the string was actually in the slot, 2/3 above slot height.
Yeah.
Now they're completely countersunk.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I found it was just from doing the cowboy chords. I was pulling string, like you do an A chord. The D is the worst. D, you always pull that G string out. Like a Les Paul issue. The Les Paul issue.
Yeah.
Which, I did I think I mentioned my fix either last night or Saturday night. I know I mentioned it to Shane. Was I actually hog out the G string slot on all my Les Paul nuts to fit a D string in it. Like sure, the string can rattle a bit in the slot. You're not going to hear that. I just hog it out just that little bit extra to about the size of a D string. I never have it binding and grabbing.
You don't need any nut sauce if you're digging them that big, man.
I've never used nut sauce in my life.
No,
I don't see the point.
That's whenever I change strings, I pile on the nut sauce.
Yeah, well, see, that's where I'm back from the old, my dad's generation DIY, where, you might shave down some pencil lead to drop in there, but generally. You always kept a pencil in your guitar case, but that was if you're breaking strings on your bridge, you just rub that pencil on the saddle to get rid of any burrs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you ever find, especially like tunematic bridges, man, if you start snapping strings on the bridge, just run pencil lead over it, and it will take out any burrs and stuff like that. Because not everybody has a set of files. So.
I've never heard that. I've only heard about putting it in the nut so that it doesn't bind. I never heard about doing it on saddles. That's interesting.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
How many times can you say nut sauce? Nut sauce, nut sauce, nut sauce, nut sauce.
And funny enough, it's called Big Ben's nut sauce. Funny enough. Yeah. Marco's Images, how are you, man? Hey, all, happy Monday. Yeah, happy Monday. It is Monday, yes.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. So, any if there's any other questions in the chat, please let us know. So, Ben, I'm still trying to decide where I'm going to throw that outlaw pedal. Where am I going to put that in my board? I don't know. That's going to have to either that's going to replace my tube screamer, or I'm going to use that in place of one of my overdrives. I haven't quite decided yet. I haven't had time.
Don't replace your tube screamer with it. That's too much night and day. And you use your tube screamer as much for a lead boost as anything else, do you not?
That's pretty much all I use it for.
Yeah. So the Outlaw is not going to be your lead boost. That's just a waste of the Outlaw. I always find, what I find? Whatever overdrive I own that I'm least satisfied with tone-wise becomes my lead boost.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't like the gain in it, so I'm going to turn the gain down, turn up the level, and basically have I like to set my tone at about 1 o'clock on my lead boost because I like to give it a little more tone as well. But I found one of the best lead boosts that are quite affordable is the Soul Food.
Yeah, you know what, man? And the Soul Food is so cheap, eh?
Well, and the biggest reason is their advertising. Transparent overdrive.
They're really
no tonal shift.
I've never tried a Soul Food. Never tried one. No. But I know. I mean,
I basically have 3 of them on my board now. Oh yeah, my board's not here because I have a Soul Food. I have the Electro Harmonics Crayon, which is a Soul Food but with a bass and treble instead of just a tone. And then I got that Bad Horse from you.
Yeah.
Which is basically the same as the Soul Food because they're all clones.
How do you like the Bad Horse? You tried it?
It's different. It's I don't know. It's darker, but it's fuller sounding than it's not as thin sounding. I was actually surprised.
It's fine.
I haven't gigged with it, but it is on my board at least for now. Because I'm debating, I might have to put something else on the board. I just put it. Where did I stick it? I stuck it. In front of everything. Basically, it's the first pedal in my chain after my tuner. Because I pulled the noise gate off. But I have to at least switch it with my compressor because I always like to have the compressor in front of gain. But I usually run my gains diminishing. You know, like the biggest gain first, then a little less, little less, little less.
Yeah, I do the opposite. I go light, heavy, and heaviest.
Well, is it because I think it's because I don't really gain stack per se.
I don't either. They're all on individually.
Yeah.
The only thing, if you call it a stack, is I'll throw, well, for a lead, I'll throw the tube screamer behind it, right?
Yeah. Although no, the last distortion in my chain is the dime bag distortion, but I'm not currently using. It's there, but I haven't been using it because I couldn't really dial it in.
I got a question.
Like many high gain pedals do not like single coil pickups.
Yeah.
It can get it goes from chuggy to buzzsaw very easy.
I got a question here from Nightbot Lover. I'm not going to reveal his true identity.
That seems like a bit of a trolley question.
Yeah, do you like Steve Vai? Steve Vai.
Tread lightly, R2's here.
Steve, well, I mean, you know, I've already gotten some grief because I made a Pink Floyd comment the other day. But, you know, I'll justify my answer anyway. Steve Vai is... I mean, there's no question he's a phenomenal guitar player, and I totally respect what he can. I mean, the guy. I mean, I don't have to say anything. The guy's phenomenal. I mean, it's well known. As far as his music and sitting and listening to like a Steve Vai record, I couldn't do it. I can listen to, you know, maybe one or two songs. He's just a little too out there for me. You know. We were
actually, my sister was mentioning to me today at the Generation Axe concert. It's happening in Kitchener. Which is not it's about an hour west for you, right? Hour and a half, depending on traffic.
I'm gigging in Kitchener in 2 weeks, actually.
At Circle in the Square, they got Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen.
Really? I didn't even hear that.
Yeah, there's like 5 shredders all showing up for one night of entertainment. And the weird part, the only Canadian date is in Kitchener.
That's odd. That's weird. Yeah. Well, how do you feel about Steve Vai? Are you?
I mentioned it last night, and R2 left.
Okay, let's leave it at that.
Oh, and speaking of which, I do want to clarify, R2. I didn't feel the same as Shane when it comes to Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yes, he can be a little busy at times, but I enjoy his busyness.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, you know, everybody, to each his own. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan is probably in that genre. He's probably my favorite. And
for one of the cleanest tones out there.
Yeah.
That's the biggest mistake with Stevie Ray Vaughan. Because I remember that I wanted to get that Stevie Ray Vaughan sound back in the day.
Yeah.
So I got a tube screamer. And I swear the tube screamers back in the day didn't have half as much gain. Because I was like, is it on? you know, I was like, this thing doesn't do anything. But then I realized, well, you're only using it to push an amp that's already being pushed. And I was like, well, nobody did it. You know, I was playing through solid state amps with no gain section.
You know, the best thing I've ever seen of Stevie Ray Vaughan, because I used to collect all his, back then it were videotapes. And there's a videotape, and it's probably hard to get now, but it's him playing at the Elmo Congo.
Live at the Elmo.
Yeah. Oh man, that is the greatest, one of the greatest displays of guitar playing I've ever seen.
The question is, how many live albums came out of the Elmo?
How many live albums?
Yeah,
I don't know. The only live, I mean, I'm not. The only live album I'm aware of that's of Stevie Ray Vaughan is, well, was it Carnegie Hall or something?
He did do an Elmo thing. Like say the video. I think there was a companion disc.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
Okay. You also have the Rolling Stones live at the Elmo Combo.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And you know who else would have been the Rolling Stones opening act that night?
Not Prince, because I know he opened for them at one time.
April Wine.
April Wine.
Because, you know, Canadian music, we got to work, right? You got to hustle.
Yeah.
Good old Miles Goodwin, you know, shows up for the gig. He sees the mobile recording studio, and he went, you guys got everything set up for a live album. So he went out and bought some tape, gave it to the boys in the truck, and said, record our set too.
Wow.
That's the gist of it, from what my understanding was.
Did you, I mean, there was it wasn't a rumor, it happened, but Rolling Stones actually had Prince open for them.
Mm-hmm.
And people were pelting him with, like...
I bet you that would have probably been around their 81, 82 tour, because by the time Prince got big, you know, mainstream was Purple Rain. Really. you know. Little Red Corvette was out there. We had moderate success, but really, let's be honest, Purple Rain really established him.
1985, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm getting some notes here. I'm getting a bit of echo, man.
Here. Oh.
BV Ninja is saying better than Soul Food is the Zen Drive. Yeah, the Zen Drives also help a lot more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I hear you, man. I hear you.
There we go. My sister, chimed in. Pete Griffin from Zappa plays Zappa on bass. Dream Theater's guitar or keyboard player. JP Beauvais on drums.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's quite the show.
I got to look into that. Guitar Hack, don't look behind you. I just did. Okay. What's behind me that you see that I don't, Jason Wade? I'll keep my Keely Oxblood.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, now we're talking. Yeah. Keeley stuff is just, I mean, that stuff is just so expensive. The most expensive pedal I have in my board is a Wampler pedal. The Pinnacle Deluxe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the price of probably 2 other pedals put together.
I think most expensive pedal on my board. Yeah, probably my Keeley compressor, because they're pushing 300 themselves, yeah. Canadian, right?
$300 for a pedal, man. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're lucky, $279 before tax, and you're still looking about $3.25 all in.
Yeah.
And then when I'm at Sweetwater, because of course you're doing the live exchange rate in your head, and Keeley and Wampler stuff is $100 cheaper in the U.S. Their stuff is about $175, instead of $275.
Yeah.
That's like, huh? Well, that's a bit of a deal, But then they were blowing out the compressors for $100.
Oh, there you go.
How could I not buy a Keeley compressor for $100?
No, that's yeah, for sure. The boogeyman. Jason Wade says I've got the boogeyman behind me. Old man says I think mine is my Plimsoll. I am a cheap bastard. The Plimsolls ain't cheap here, old man Dan.
No,
they're over $200. They're like $220.
Yeah, I've been trying to get peppers off them for a while now.
The Plimsoll is my favorite overdrive pedal. Okay, I've said it.
I know.
But it's true. I absolutely, that's my main overdrive. It has been for years. I just love that. That'll never leave my board.
What's now, do you use your most expensive pedals? I'm wondering, do you have something in the collection that is worth some significant money that you don't use gigging?
No, every pedal I have is basically on my board except for the Outlaw that I got from you, and the I got a Ditto looper that I just to play around with.
Sure.
Everything else is on my board. No, I don't collect pedals, Ben. I try to keep it. I didn't want to fall in the rabbit hole. Now this is kind of when I start, because I've only been doing pedals for a couple of years. It hasn't been a huge amount of time, right? I was asking about your before in the previous chat before about your playing history and all that, and I only got back into playing about I'd say about 6 years ago. And when
about the same as me.
Yeah.
Actually, it came up in my Facebook memories today. I will tell you, I believe it's either 5 or 6 years ago I joined One Day to Live. Because I did the announcement, whatever it was, on this date. Let's see here. So it was 2 years ago today I got my Mexican Telly, apparently. 5 years ago today.
There you go. I just want to say a couple. Guitar Hack, I really like your style, brother. Bring that Gibson roar. Thanks, EJ. Jason Wade, hey, dude, I love your channel. So many cool things to sell. Man, thank you so much, Jason Wade.
Nice.
Really appreciate
Very
that.
kind words, guys.
Very nice. Appreciate it.
R2's correcting him. You lie!
Thanks, R2.
Yeah, apparently that kind of compliment, Jason, will get you timed out by R2.
Yeah, exactly.
And everyone should sub to R2 as well. You got a bit of a bump this weekend.
Oh, sub to everybody. Yeah, everybody sub to everybody, man.
Well, that's why, which I don't know if you see, all my videos, I have the same description for the most part, because you can go into the creator studio and have a default upload. And when I saw Johnny had put the list of 7 or 8 channels, including me, I'm going to check out my friends, I went, that's a great idea, because I would try to give a shout out, hey, subscribe to Guitar Hack, subscribe to R2, subscribe, whomever. Right. And then I would forget certain names, and I felt bad about it. So then I'm like, you know what? Just check out the links down below. That's a lot easier to say. And then I just left them there.
You got to show me that feature because I don't know how to do that. Because I type everything in manually, and it's
yeah. What we'll do sometime is when we both have some downtime, like call me on my phone with like, you know, do a voice chat or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, through Messenger, because that way I can say, here, you know, turn it around, show you what's on screen. But then we could both have our laptops open, and I can say, okay, click here, click. Because I did 5 years of tech support too, so I can walk anybody through anything on a computer.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be very, very helpful. Yeah. Yeah. So I was saying, so I only started up again about 6 years ago, and I was basically how I got back playing again is I've got a younger brother who's a really good guitar player, way better than I am. And he was in a band, and he said, look, I need you to fill in on second guitar. I got a gig in a month. And I literally at that point hadn't played in about 12 years. So I didn't even know how to play a C chord. I was playing 5-6 hours a day just to get my fingers to move again.
Sure.
So, and I needed sounds really fast. So I wasn't going to go out and start getting into the pedal thing because I was never into the pedal thing. So what I did was I went to the Evil Empire, as you put it, and I walked in and I said, "Look, I need sounds, you know, help me." And I'm, you know, gear wise, I mean, I was like complete noob at that point. Like now, it'd be a different story, but back then. And the guy says, "Oh, okay, how, you know, what's the cheapest?" Because I didn't know if I was even going to keep going, right?
Sure.
So what's the cheapest I can get some sounds? Because I got to play a. It was all 90s stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the cheapest? And he goes, well, you know, why don't you do a multi-effects like a Boss? And I ended up picking up a Boss ME70, right? Because it had everything on there, and it was kind of user-friendly. I was able to program a bunch of patches and things, and that's what I used. And I used that for years. I used it for that gig, and then I kept going with it, and I got into other bands and so on. And I gigged with that for a long time, you know, right? And then I got introduced to pedals, and I did a video a long time ago, and it's actually gotten a lot of views where I A-B'd like my ME70.
Right.
With the same, like, so I was like going literally OD. Here's an overdrive on a pedal. Here's the OD on the ME, and like just, you know, side by side A-B'ing them, and delays and choruses and all that. And once I did that and actually listened to them side by side, it's like I'm never going to use this thing again. It's just never going to use it again because the pedals just absolutely blew it away. It's like it's like going from AM radio to FM radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All these extra frequencies just opened up, and it just sounded so much. All this information that, you know, wasn't there is now there, and I never went back. But then I was always warned, like with pedals, like, you know this. Anybody that started with pedals knows this, man. It's a rabbit hole. Once you get going, it's like, oh, I'm going to get another one, and I'm going to get a better their version of this, and so on. And I really try to keep it minimum.
Yeah, and I find too, the problem with the rabbit hole of pedals is it's become such a tone snob by piecemealing stuff together that, you know, most people will say, well, you know, like get an ME70. I'm like, I can't. You know, because sure, I like the Boss DD3 as a digital delay, but I only use digital delay on 80s music. The rest of the time I'm using a carbon copy for an analog. Yeah. Sure, you know, they have an analog delay too. I like the chorus from a Boss, but I can't stand their phaser.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, and so for me to get a multi-effect to do what I need to do, I'm looking at like a Helix or, you know, something along those lines that has everybody's pedals in it. Well, I'm into the same amount of money as I am for a pedal board.
Yeah. Dave R is saying it's almost like going from a solid state to a tube amp. That's exactly what it is, Dave R. Yeah, I hit the nail on the head, man.
Yeah.
Swamp Trainwreck, how are you, man? Nice to see you.
Hey, Swamp Trainwreck.
I read a while back that Leslie West played through some PA head string.
That is correct.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Because, like, you know, an amplifier is an amplifier. You have a preamp, you have a post amp. Anyone that's mixed live sound knows if you put too much preamp in on the vocals, the microphone distorts, so you can get an overdrive. And every little module has its own little breakup, and it worked for him. And Sun stuff is awesome equipment.
Yeah.
You know, ask my dad. My dad's generation, he literally will tell you about the one time he played through a Sun PA system. It was that game-changing. for him.
Yeah, I had a pair of Sun monitors that I should not have sold, but I did.
Yeah.
Well, if Trainwreck.
Old man Dan asked, he's got a Microsoft Game Store, still refuses to recognize my GTX 1070 as a DX12 card. Fix it for me. Well, sir, when I did computer tech support, when Windows Vista came out, I gave up and quit the job. So those days are long gone, unfortunately. I can do YouTube stuff on a computer, and I'm pretty much that's it now.
They're talking about Mountain Festival at a festival in Mountain. David Wilcox.
Yeah.
Okay.
I walked in on Dave Wilcox once.
Oh, a new person. Hey, Gussie Wells, how are you?
Gussie was in earlier, I think. I think I saw them in part 1.
Oh, okay. He was in part 1. Well, thanks for coming back. So we got 18 people right now.
Nice.
Which is very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
Yes, and BV, I won't mention that lovely new pedal you got, but maybe if I don't mention it, maybe I could borrow your gold pedal for a while.
Yeah, he mentioned something earlier about not wanting to mention a pedal. I guess it was like a very
yeah. I just want to borrow his gold one. It's one of those ones that's got a 4-letter name, starts with K, ends with L, or ends with N, and there's an L and an O in there somewhere.
Is that the one that you were posting? Or?
No, that's the brother, because the Klon came out both in gold and silver. But the one I was posting about, it was BV originally posted it, a new old stock, never been used silver Klon.
Yeah, for $3,000 or something.
Yeah, it's just it's in Capsule Music is, I think they're the West End of Toronto.
Yeah, that's right. Because you said I might, if I was interested.
It's not too far. Think how much money you'll save on gas to go and get it, right?
Here I am talking about complaining about a $250 Wampler, and I'll go $3,000 on a Klon.
Yeah, but it's a Klon.
Devil. Sorry, American Devil. How are you? The Judge.
The Judge.
Love your channel. Appreciate it, The Judge. Nice to see you, man. Bobby Clipper. How are you? How's it going?
See, BV, I didn't know what you had into it monetarily. I thought you were talking about the new one you got there from, was it Thorpe FX? The Dane?
Oh, the Dane. That looks really good, man.
Yeah.
And I that pedal, I mean, I haven't tried that one. The other one that really grabbed me too is it's the Keely pedal, the D&M Drive, the Dan and Mick pedal.
I get, it's funny. When I went to Music Fest, same thing. It was 2 things I played through, and it was the same comment both times. I went up. The biggest reason I went to that event was to play a Wolfgang, because the closest Wolfgang to me is in Oshawa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the Lone McQuaid here doesn't carry a Wolfgang. Apparently, we're not Wolfgang worthy in the Quinte region. So as soon as I played it, of course, you do a sliding pentatonic scale. And I go, ba-da-la-la-la-la.
Yeah.
How the crap did I just do that?
Yeah.
It's the 12-inch radius. It's the super low action, super slinky. And all I said was, I get it. I get it. Why people dig these things.
Yeah.
Plugged into a D&M drive. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand why it was voted pedal of the year.
Yeah. And it's a 2-in-1, right? Like you can use that as a drive and a boost all together. You just set up both, because it's 2 pedals in one, right?
And I remember too, in the Keely booth, that was when I had that out of body moment where you're looking at yourself, because it was we're in the Keely booth. It's my first time playing a Duesenberg guitar.
Oh wow, never played.
The price tag on it, I believe, was between $5,000 and $6,000 Canadian. It was lent for use to Robert Keely himself from the store, playing through, I think, a Milkman amp, which was all the rage at NAMM last year.
Yeah, those are sick, man.
So your clean tone is just awesome, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking and I'm running through a Keely pedal board, to show off all their pedals.
Yeah.
So let's put on that compressor. Do a major pentatonic chicken pick type thing. Ding, 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 ding. And I hear, that's cool. I look, it's Robert Keeley. Because he's talking to someone else with, like, we have our backs to each other about 2 or 3 feet apart. Right. And then I start playing again. I got my head down. I see a hand reach over and tweak the compressor. And it's Robert Keeley tweaking a Robert Keeley compressor while I'm playing. And I'm just like,
wow. That is cool, man.
My day is made. My day is made. And then who knew that a few hours later, Richie and me are running the Keeley booth.
That's really cool.
Because he had to leave. And the sales rep that was there, he was at another booth handling things. And all of a sudden, Richie's noodling away on the rig. I'm sitting in Robert's chair, kind of, anybody to come in, give them any, information I could. And I was just, we were like, literally, who was it? JJ. When we were doing all the little upfronts, like every time we'd take a break, we'd do a little live segment of like 2 minutes. And he said it was like 2 kids checking in from Disneyland. It was like, we just did Magic Mountain, and now we're gonna go check the haunted house now, and then we're boom, gone for 2 hours.
Yeah. Why don't you did you get contact info? Any of his contact info? Maybe could you have?
Robert Keeley?
Yeah.
He added me as a friend on Facebook right then and there. He goes, well, let me look you up and hook you up. Unfortunately, Robert is very busy, and we were going to do some stuff together.
That'd be cool, man.
And I think it's one of those, Robert, to talk to a guy, he loves it as much as we do. He's a gear nerd like anyone else. Mm-hmm. And he was really into doing something, but he got busy, and I think it was a little overzealous. So I hold nothing against Robert. Like so many people, he probably talks to so many people, and it was like Music Fest, then Gear Fest, then Summer NAMM, and then, so I get it. He's a very busy man, but good guy. I had a great time hanging with him.
Well, I mean, I don't know him at all, but I saw him. Was it last year? They were interviewing him on I guess that HP thing that he did last year that he's not doing this year.
Right.
GitCon, yeah.
Yeah. Well, GitCon, yeah, because Henning was involved in GitCon, and now Henning and GitCon are 2 separate entities.
Yeah, he's doing his
And I just want to give a shout out to the judge. He said something very nice. I'm not sure why EJ timed him out, but
yeah, I just noticed that EJ timed him out. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I try to be humble because
Ben Coombs,
no ego. I try not to. If I develop an ego, somebody needs to give me a slap up the back of the head. Yeah. I have no right to have an ego. I'm just a guy. Living the dream.
But yeah. Well, you know what? And that's, now that you mention that, like, I was just going to say, like, that's the cool thing. I mean, that's why I, sub to you and that. And that's why this community is so cool, because nobody kind of thumbs their noses at, abilities or knowledge or whatever. That's not what it's about. It's all about sharing. Everybody's got something to offer, whether you gig, whether you don't gig, whether you're a home player, whether you're a beginner, whether you're an intermediate, there's something to be learned from other people, regardless of what their experience is. That's for me, that's the big plus of.
That's the way I see it. Like you could have your, beginner / bedroom player, what have you, that wants some information that say he's getting into pedals or something. And if I have the knowledge, I'm more than willing to give that out, because I then look to other people to get knowledge myself.
Exactly. Yeah. BV Ninja, Robbie was developing the new Supro key. Yeah, I still haven't seen that video. Yeah, Keely is
very cool. Yes, BV. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I love that collaboration, because I've been digging the Supro products since they relaunched that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the relaunch of Dane Electro, right?
Yeah.
It used to be a really crappy line of equipment, is now, because I couldn't figure it out. Like Supro, and everyone's like, oh, Supro, and it's like you can get a nice little lunchbox amp for a couple grand or whatever, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Sears catalog stuff. Like, who's paying money for this stuff?
Yeah, Absolute
Mayhem and Absolute Mayhem
is in the house. Yeah, have you got? I haven't tried a Supro. I haven't tried the new ones. Hey, Broken Chains is in here as well. Hey, Broken Chains, how are you?
Jimmy, brother?
Yeah.
Hey, Broken Chains, how was the storm for you guys where you were?
Oh, was
he down in North Carolina?
He's in the Carolinas, is he? I didn't know that. But did you get nailed there on Friday, Ben, where you were?
Yeah. Wait, Friday? Was that Friday? No, Wednesday. Wednesday? Tornado in Ottawa.
Was that Wednesday? I think it was. No, it was Friday. It was Friday because I had a gig. I had a gig later on, and I was thinking, who's going to show up to this gig? Because it was super windy. We had crazy winds.
Yeah.
Here.
I knew it was bad driving home from work because I was watching the whole tornado. Well, you were watching it too because I shared it on Facebook, and I saw you jumped in too, and the two of us were watching the live storm thing.
I want to see what was going on. Yeah.
Driving home, which is what, 40 miles, 60 kilometers. The amount of times the vehicle went into passing gear, and I'm riding in cruise control on flat ground, but the wind was so fierce that it's just like I got to kick it up a notch.
Yeah. Now we had some crazy winds here. It was weird because I know it was Friday because I had a gig and I was asking the other guys in the band because everybody's from all over, and some guys didn't even get any rain, and some guys got a bit of wind and whatever. But where I am, we got for about 10 minutes. It looked like a mini friggin' hurricane kind of went through and knocked trees down and got some fences knocked down. So, but it kind of came and went, and then it was sunny, just like that. So, Mitch Heyman is back. Hey, Mitch, how are you? BV Ninja, Broken Gussie Walls, born in a crossfire hurricane. Yeah. So, has anybody got any questions?
Yeah. No, it's good to hear. Yeah, Broken Chazy's closer to Charlotte, so yeah, he's fine. I wasn't sure how far inland the storm made it, so that's why I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as Jason Wade. He's in the same area, essentially.
Well, yeah, and 7/8 too. Jay, wasn't he in that? He's in that area as well, is he not?
YouTube, new from Johnny Beane. Random cat video. Okay. I think Johnny needs a nap.
Oh, man. All right.
Trying to stay under 500, yeah.
Hey, we got 27 people watching.
These little deals here and there. Yeah, so one thing I will say, the downfall of Canada is the fact that we have 1/10 of the population density of the U.S., so we have 1/10 of the used guitar market. You know, you figure if everything's relative, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm always trolling for Les Pauls, as you can imagine. I'm always looking at Kijiji, and I was saying the other day, because of the prices and everything, like even the used stuff, I mean, you're lucky if you find anything less than $2,000 now for a standard. They really jacked it up.
Yeah.
It was like a couple of years ago, you could find used Les Pauls for, 12 to 16, and 16 was high at that point. Now,
it's crazy. I've noticed in the last couple of years, being on the lower end market, you used to be able to find $300 Epiphone Les Pauls all day long.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. Like they were all, especially a Cherry Burst. Cherry Burst Epiphone Les Paul, 300 all day.
Yeah.
They are now 450, 475, and anything else is now $600. Well, 5-6 years ago, you could buy a new one for that. But now they've crept up into the 800 range. I noticed that 800-900 range for a lot of the nicer Epiphone stuff.
Yeah.
And and they retain their value.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody and their brother, and you go in more often than not, someone's playing an Epiphone Les Paul, not a Gibson.
Yeah.
You're kind of the rarity in that. Like, if I walked into a bar, I'd be like, well, who's this guy? Especially if I saw you also had a backup Les Paul sitting there. I'd be like, so this is your side project. What's your real band?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my thought would be. Or, okay, you've been doing it a long time, or, well, actually, it depends how beat up the Les Pauls are. If they're beat up, I'd say a long time. If not, I'd be like, so what's your day job?
Well, I mean, I think most people know at this point, like, I'm just a weekend warrior in terms of gigging. Like, being a musician, I'd be starving. Just playing on the weekends just for fun. But I actually you're going to laugh at this, Ben, but I use my gig money to buy cigars.
Sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's, you know, can't live off of that.
Well, I will say, without completely throwing him under the bus, my bass player will say for me from time to time, we need to book more gigs, man. I need more party favors.
Yeah.
You know, he leads a certain lifestyle, let's say, to offset his own personal reality. And it's giving money that pays for that, say, fun on the weekend.
I completely hear you. Somebody was asking if I do voiceovers for commercials or something. It's no, I don't have a Gak. Your voice is so familiar. Radio commercial? No, no, Gussie Wells. I don't do any commercials.
I don't know about Shy the Judge.
Can
you find any deals at yard sales? People that don't know the value of what they have, those days are gone. Between eBay, Reverb, it's so easy to just look at a guitar. If you can figure out the manufacturer, and then, like if you type in Gibson Les Paul and you think, well, Dad bought that 20 years ago. So you'd put in, say, 1998 Gibson Les Paul. You'll get so many hits online. You have an idea of what it is, guaranteed. You do still see deals more, I'd say, in pawn shops where they've been sitting on a piece of gear for a while and eventually they just want to get their money out of it.
Yeah, pawn shops.
I picked up that. What is it? Got it right back here because it hasn't even made it on the shelf, let alone my pedal board. The BBE Green Screamer, which is kind of their tube screamer that they don't make anymore.
Yeah,
I think these suckers are going for like $60 to $80, Canadian online. It's priced at $45. I said, I'll give you $40 all in. And he's like, take it.
How's it sound?
It's been sitting in the case for 6 months.
Have you played it?
Yeah. The switch is a little flaky. I'm gonna clean it. Okay. But it's a tube screamer. I'm not into tube screamers, but I always give the benefit of the doubt. I'll look at other companies' tube screamers because, like we were saying earlier, I've got how many Klon style pedals on my board, but they all sound different. So, and it goes up on the shelf, and then of course I noticed it was a day after I bought this. That's when I did the post in the Facebook group. So I got basically all my gear for sale. If anybody wants stuff, because I'm looking at changing things up and freeing up some capital.
Have you sold any of that stuff? How's that going?
Have I sold? No, I don't think I have sold anything. I've had some dumb lowball offers, like, hey, you got a Boss CE2. Yeah, I do. I'll give you $60 for it. No, I will take $300 for it.
Yeah, those. That's
made in Japan CE2. And that's the nice thing about CE2. When I go to pedal shows and stuff, there never was a made in China one. The CE5 was out before they moved all the manufacturing out of Japan. So if you see one, grab it.
Yeah. Hey, Michael B.
And industry standard. Hey, Michael B.
Michael B's in. Yeah, I had one of those, and I bought it, when back in the day when they were $100 or whatever it was, and I don't know where the hell it went, but I sure as hell wish I had it because that is one of the sweetest sounding choruses I've ever heard.
R2 says, what? You don't like tube scream? Man, I can't say anything to please R2 the last couple days. No, it's because I already play with a lot of mids and highs, it becomes too much. It's that mid hump, it becomes too much. Because if I'm swapping in and out, although I shouldn't say I'm not a complete fan, and this is why I buy so many tube screamer style pedals, is I have the Digitech Screaming Blues, which is their take on a tube screamer, but instead of a tone, it's got the bass and treble option. So, and it didn't have as much of a mid hump. So I was able to get away more from that.
So just reading some of these comments. Old Man Dan says that when he was in high school,
he had
I see that 59 Les Paul, and his mom bought it at a garage sale for $250.
I believe it.
That's insane.
When I got into playing, a used Les Paul was $500.
Yeah,
all day long, and you had your choice of gold tops or black.
Yeah,
because a lot of the not a lot of standards, still a lot of deluxes around. Because
Deluxes.
what was it? Like Gibson, 80% of all Les Pauls built in the 70s were Les Paul Deluxes because they were all hell bent on everyone needs a mini humbucker. Nobody needs a mini humbucker. Yeah.
I had one.
Who did I? That was my first electric guitar. Was a Les Paul Deluxe.
Well, it wasn't my first guitar, but I bought it in the early 90s, I would say 91, 92, and it was a Gold Top Deluxe, 1980 Gold Top Deluxe. And I had that thing, but the frets on that were almost non-existent.
Yep.
And it felt okay, and I played it for years, and but I always wanted humbuckers. It always
and that was the thing for me was
it didn't look right, It just
answered an ad, I believe, in the local paper to get my guitar. My dad and me drove over to Buddy's place. It was a friend's cousin type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment we knocked on the door, or actually I should say the moment he answered the door, he lost all bargaining. Because he says, okay, everything's up in my room. We got to make this quick. I'm moving out of town and my buddy's picking me up in 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I went, perfect. And so I walked out of there with and this would have been around 1990, maybe 91, in and around. I picked up a 72 Les Paul Deluxe with its original hardshell case, tobacco burst, plain top, two-piece, because you could see the damn seam in it, because Gibson don't care, with a Hohner 1x15 amp, solid-state amp, like a 50-watt keyboard amp.
Yeah.
An original MXR distortion, and a Boss CE2 pedal for $700 for everything.
Oh, wow.
Now, granted, we're talking that's the better part of $2,000 now.
But still, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I played that guitar. I still got the pedal, and that was my second. I owned two Boss CE2s at the time, and so I sold one of them to my dad for $30.
Nice. I just saw Sean Zimmerman. Hello again, Sean. Just made a comment. I use two tube screamers depending on what amp I use. You still do, but with my Jet City JCA 100, it has enough gain. I don't use it. I was just making a comment about the tube screamers. Yeah, I bought it in I think 91 or 92. That was my first good Les Paul. Was that Gold Top Deluxe.
Right.
And I ended up selling it about 2 or 3 years ago, and I bought it for $900. Didn't have the original case. It was $900. I really wanted a standard because I wanted humbuckers, but that was a little bit expensive. Even then, it was a little $500-600. So I bought that instead. But you know what? It never looked right. Right? I got that stupid thing in my head. Right? Les Paul, 2 humbuckers. These are too small. And then, the last thing you want to do is you don't want to butcher the guitar, route it out to put a humbucker in it. I didn't want to do that. So eventually I sold it. And actually what I did was I traded it in and I got my ES339. That pretty much paid for it because that's how much it went up in value from the time I bought it to the time I sold it. So I did all right there. Unfortunately,
I sold my Les Paul at the worst possible time. I sold it in around 1992.
Oh, yeah.
I think I got $400 or $500 for it. And within 2 years, it was worth $5,000.
Yeah, because it's the 70s.
Yeah, and alternative happened in grunge. And nobody wanted Kramers and Ibanez anymore. Everybody wanted Les Pauls and offsets. And
yeah. They want the lesser known. They didn't want the rock star guitars. They didn't want anything that was identified with the rocks, like specifically the 80s rock stars, right?
Yeah. We're mopey, we're depressed.
Yeah.
We don't want to sing about having a good time. Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, but as sleazy as a lot of the Sunset Strip bands were, they had a very positive, go out, have fun, drink beer, get laid.
Yeah, exactly.
What's wrong with that? Especially to a teenager, right? As opposed to, everybody hates me, mope around grunge music. No, granted, I like grunge too, but it was quite the change. And I had to secretly listen to my glam rock,
Yeah.
Because you were just ostracized. It was like saying you like disco in 1981.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, there were a couple
of guilty pleasure.
There was a couple of bands that had their feet sort of in both. I just want to make a comment here. The Gussie Wells, Brian Robertson, and Scott Gorman thought they looked good. Yeah, because he's mentioning those are the Thin Lizzy guys. They I don't know if both of them played deluxes. I know that Scott Gorman played a deluxe. I don't know if Brian Robertson played a deluxe. I think he had humbuckers, but I could be wrong. But those are guys that played deluxe guitars. And Thin Lizzy, I mean, come on. They sounded amazing. So nothing about the sound of those guitars. Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were a great band.
Oh yeah. They're one of my favorite bands. I mean, Phil Lynott just wrote fantastic songs, great frontman, great vocalist. Yeah, big fan of Thin Lizzy.
I remember my bass player Larry saying to me, I remember I was jamming with a previous incarnation of our current band, which was the band I joined after One Day to Live, and we were running some stuff down, and I had all these ideas floating in my head, and he goes, well, why don't you start a band called the Ben Coombs Project? I said, and at that time, I was strictly a sideman. I'm like, dude, I'm a rhythm player. I don't sing other than, choruses.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do any lead work. He's like, so? Jay Giles was a bass player. He had his own band. He didn't sing.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. But, of course, then I joined up with them, and that's when I realized the differences, like we had touched on earlier, like before joining a cover band, I kind of looked down on it. But then when I realized, especially with a female singer, we played all the guilty pleasure songs that as an all-male band, we couldn't play.
Yeah.
Like, all those 90s female singers and stuff, like if you want to do an Alanis Morissette song, for instance, we could, and we have the excuse, well, we're backing up a female. We have to play Alanis Morissette, but we're having fun doing it.
Yeah.
And that first summer, we were so busy. Rich had 3 weeks off, weekends free, but we gigged at least once, if not twice a weekend. I was booked from Canada Day through mid-September, and I had 2 weekends off.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was, hey, we got offered to play a party. I said, what the hell? I'm not a kid. I don't play house parties. I'm not in high school, Well, no, it's not. It's, someone like ourselves, they're doing a barbecue. They want to bring in a band, impress their friends, whatever. Well, then you show up. There's 2 to 3 times the crowd as an average bar gig. So instead of 20 people, there's 60.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this, man.
There's free beer. There's food. Because they always have a barbecue in the band. Oh, here, look at you guys. What are you, 6 foot tall and 100 pounds? Eat.
Yeah.
And
exactly right. Yeah.
And by today's standards, they were so happy that somebody didn't show up with a bloody iPod plugged in.
That's right.
And people are getting up, they're dancing, they're singing along.
Everybody's there for a good time, man. That's
we did one about 10, 15 minutes north of me here, just outside another small town, right along the Trent River. And along the river, you have a lot of converted cottages that are now year-round homes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a block party because it was 5 or 6 homes all in a row, all get together and throw one big party. So everybody invites, say, 20 people.
Yeah.
We're playing for a crowd of over 100 people. They got a full-blown pig roast, pig being roasted and this and that. Man, my stomach was stuffed. I didn't, and it was great because you would just walk up to a mic and say, the drummer needs a beer, and there's 6 of them handed to you.
Yeah. Well, we played a gig in Collingwood a few weeks ago, and this gentleman approached us and says, hey, I want you guys to play at this big party that I hold every year. And we're like, okay, whatever. And, we give him our card. We don't think much of it. Then he gets back to us a couple of weeks later, and it's in some fancy, like, yacht club or country club or something. And he says, I get 250, 300 people that come out to this. And we're like, whoa,
That's not a gig. That's a concert.
Yeah, and they're going to take care of us, man. We're like all the stuff you mentioned. We're going to get the food. They're even going to get us a hotel room and stock it up with stuff. It's like, wow.
Well, like you had saw in the Facebook group last month there when we played the private function. Oh man, that was like 45 minutes north of here.
Yeah,
and they built a damn stage for us.
That's incredible.
And I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be half a dozen pallets with some plywood screwed to them. And we show up and it's like a 15 by 30 stage, 4 feet off the ground, lighting, covered. And I'm just like, holy crap. And the guy, right away, he's like, yeah, we're thinking about making this an annual thing. Are you guys open to that? I'm like, are you kidding me? A bunch of bikers in their 50s and 60s who just want to listen to music and drink beer. And, and they're like, hey, if you want to drink, you can leave your vehicle here. We'll drive you home. And I was just like, wow, the hospitality.
Hey, Zach Thong. Yeah, we're still here, man.
Hey, Zach.
Marco's Images is back. Hey, how are you? Way to go, Guitar Hack. Thanks, man. Yeah,
anyone got the new Jimmy Page biography? No, but I'd be interested in that. I have read some Jimmy Page biographies. Is it like an official one that he's involved with? I'm wondering.
Is it? I wonder if they're talking about the photo book. Did he actually have it written? Because I know he's got a photo book.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious on that.
Yeah, me too.
And I always said, if you're going to spend the money on, just randomly, if you're ever going to spend the extra money on a signature Les Paul, buy a Jimmy Page Les Paul, because then you're also buying a Joe Walsh Les Paul. Right? Because Jimmy's famous 60 was given to him by Joe Walsh, or sold to him. I can't remember if it was given or sold. So, you're kind of two birds with one stone.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, Zach Thong says, nice, guys. Yeah. It's ever I was going to say. There's a house party at old folks' home. Yeah, not too far from that.
I played in old folks home before.
Have you? That I haven't. Yeah. There might as well have been old folks home, some of them. But not.
I think the funniest was showing up at a barbecue gig once, and I played there 2 or 3 years in a row. And I thought the host, I'm like, he looks familiar, but it's one of those like you haven't seen the guy in literally 30 plus years. And then I walk around the side of the house where they have the garage that had some drinks and stuff like that. And, it's one of those, the guy has a street sign where it's their, the family name with Avenue after it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know that name. And learning from my dad was the famous thing of, what's your father's name? Because on the East Coast, everybody knows by last name. So you always say, what's your father's name?
Right.
And he told me, and it turned out the guys who hired us were the sons of one of my dad's former bandmates.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, my dad's former lead player and frontman. It was their son that hired us.
Nice.
And he goes, like, you look familiar too. And I went, yeah. And so I mentioned my dad's name, and the jaw drops. And so he's like, oh, let me get my brother over. And his brother comes over, and he's like several sheets to the wind at that point. And I said, you really want to blow your brother's mind? He goes, why is that? I said, check this out. And I opened my guitar case, and it's a 67 Tele that was my dad's. And I said, I'm gigging with this at your function. And they're like, wow, how things change but stay the same. I'm like, yep. I'm literally, playing the same music my dad played with his guitar.
That's very cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. They got a real kick out of it. They're like, I know that guitar. I'm like, I bet you do. Because one of them used to do sound for my dad back in the day.
EJ's asking, is there any Halloween gigs planned? I don't have no Halloween gigs. I'm hoping that we still manage to nail a New Year's Eve gig, but nothing's come through yet.
When it comes to Halloween, all I can say as a word of advice, choose your costume, be smart.
Yeah, I got a story about that.
I just got a message from Glenn Fricker.
Oh, cool. I think it was last. It might have been last. Yeah, it was last year, or no, 2 years ago. I did an Alice Cooper thing, so I had a top hat and like really long black hair and the black makeup around the eyes. So what I neglected to think of is when you've got a really long black wig on, and when you lean over to look at your fretboard, where's all your hair going? On the fretboard.
Yeah.
I had a hell of a time trying to play with this hair hanging on the fretboard and move it out of the way so I can see what I was doing. It was just thought out, man.
I take my hat off and and have my hair down for the first song or two. And then after I start eating my hair, every time I take a breath to sing a line, the ball cap goes back on real quick.
Yeah.
Or I'll do it long enough that if somebody wants to take a few photos or something,
Yeah.
Gussie Wells was asking, is the 67 Telly all original? No. I won't say far from it, but well, this could generate some views if you want to tag it later, 67 Telly with EMGs. So yeah, it has EMG pickups in it. And the frets have been replaced. The nut's been replaced a couple of times, I believe, as well. The reason for the EMGs, folks, if you gig in old town bars at all, you have bad ground more often than not. And my old man played this through the Silverface Vibrolux with no gain, super clean, and he got sick of the buzz constantly. So he heard about these noiseless, buzzless pickups, and he took a drive down to Syracuse, New York, and bought them in around 1984, 1985. So they're like original EMGs. And it does have a different tone. I will say that, but it's a cool tone, and this thing is a beast. Rich is even recorded with this guitar.
Nice.
Yeah, they were doing a little demo a few years ago, and he wanted this for a guitar solo. I brought this and a little tiny 4-watt amp from Woolworths from the early 70s. Plugged it in. He lays down his lead. The sneer on Larry's face. That tone is disgusting, Yeah. So we went in, we compressed it a bit, mixed it a bit, gave him a pair of headphones. We said, listen to it now with the band behind it. And he went, oh my God, that's Keith Richards.
There you go.
Like, yep.
See you, Dave R.
See you, Dave. Hope all's good on the West Coast, I believe. I believe he's in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, Gilmore used EMGs. A lot of guys used EMGs in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't doubt it, the original Fender lace sensor pickups were essentially EMGs.
I had lace sensors. I had a Strat Plus. It was like when they first introduced the lace sensors. I don't know if you remember, they had you could buy them with 3 gold, or you can buy them with, there was the red, the blue, the silver, and the gold, I believe. And they all had different tonalities to them. And I had the Strat, and I got all 3 gold because the gold were the most Stratty sounding ones. Never liked them. Never liked those pickups.
Yes, I do, Gussie. Did you want to see that one as well?
Yeah, he's asking for your 71, yeah.
All right.
Suave Trainwreck, are you inviting?
All my telly's just off camera today. So this is the 71. Rosewood fretboard instead of maple. This one's been modded as well. 4-way switch. Modern bridge with a 6 saddle, which I didn't have to do any kind of cutting. Your bridge will sit further back on the guitar, just as an FYI for you or anyone else in the chat. If you ever want to replace your bridge, it does sit back almost the full width of the saddles further back, but the intonation's still fine. I don't know exactly why it's further back, but it works. For whatever it works. Got a brass nut in it as well. Thank you again, Showman Blues. Sent me a brass nut. Nice bird's eye maple on the back of the neck. I don't know. Well, I guess some of the bird's eye's coming through.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah. This was a gift from my cousin Brad. Thank you very much, Brad. I got this thing about a week before Christmas last year, and then our first gig after the holidays was the first Friday after New Year's, which needless to say, Richie wasn't impressed that I booked a gig the first Friday after New Year's. He says, nobody's going out the first Friday after New Year's. I said, yeah, well, guess what? It gets us into a venue.
That's right, yes.
And this one, the neck pickup is a little flaky at the moment. We have to work on. I brought this out, and I gigged with it, and I rode that bridge pickup all night. Not only did I not change the strings, I used the same strings that were on it for who knows how many years. I turned up my high end a little more to compensate. The G string was buzzing out considerably, so I did, the high-tech solution of putting a little piece of paper under the string in the nut, like we all used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
Once I got the brass nut and we went to install it, it turns out I gigged, the nut was broken in half. And that's why the string was so far down inside.
Yeah.
So I actually played an entire 4 sets with a broken nut, 1 pickup, and I'm grinning the whole time because I'm playing my 71 Telly.
It's funny. We got a couple of comments here I want to mention. Old Man Dan says he had a 2017 Seafoam Green Les Paul Classic with a transparent plain top that he sold and sort of wish he had because it looked real nice and played. Yeah, the Seafoam Green, it's one of the few new colors that really it's grown on me a little bit. I love the look of that. Suave Trainwreck is asking, don't mind my asking, what is the night exactly? It's a long story, Suave Trainwreck. We had an internet issue earlier, and I had to jump on another live stream real quick, and I had this one already set up. So I normally do a Thursday night show, so I'm using that event, but I will switch it once we're all done here.
Speaking of which, I want to thank you for giving me shout-outs to head over to my show after you're done on Thursdays. I really appreciate it.
No, you know what? It's funny how that all worked out. Like, I mean, originally I was doing the Sundays, and like I'm a huge football fan. I'm actually wearing my Eagles shirt right now because they won Sunday. Anyway, so I decided to switch to Thursdays, and you know, because it just seemed like the only night that worked for me that I'm not rehearsing and so on. And then it's like, oh, okay, then that's right. So I'll go on before Ben, and so it's almost like 1, 2, 3, right?
Right.
I come on, then I'm done. Then you come on, then you're done. Then EJ comes on, so everybody shouts everybody else out. It all, works out beautifully. It was not, I swear, it was not planned that way.
Right.
It worked out that way, and it's cool. It works out nicely. Ben, I hear that a lot of people replace their frets and get a new fret job. It's not a $300 job. I would like to do it on a guitar, but it sounds costly. That's broken shit.
Yeah, it's about that. It's not overly hard. You can buy pre-cut frets, like from StewMac or something like that. They're not bad. Basically, I'll give you your 1-minute rundown on replacing frets. Obviously, remove the strings. It's always a good idea to have your neck straight. Then what you do is you have a soldering iron and an eyedropper with water. You drop a little bit of water along the side of the fret. Use the soldering iron to heat up the fret, which allows the water to creep down inside and gets in with the glue. Then use a pair of pliers to pull out the frets, unless there's certain year fenders where you got to pull them out the side. You have to pay attention to that. Then it's just a matter of cleaning out the slot, like getting any glue out of there, and then just tapping in the new frets and pressing them in.
Johnny Beane is in the house. Hey, Johnny, how are you?
This nice T-shirt matches the telly. Yes. Let's there it is.
There he is.
Hey, look at that. We got Johnny Beane on the show.
Johnny Beane's on the show. Gussie Waltz, I know what I'm doing Thursday night. Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. Yeah,
awesome.
All three of us are on Thursdays. It's myself, then Ben, and then the crazy.
If you're not already subscribed, just click on my name in the chat. Here, I'll just say hi. You can go to my channel, subscribe. I appreciate each and every subscription I get. Yeah, my sister. Ben came over today, felt like I was talking to both of you. Yeah, Johnny came up in conversation. All good, Johnny. Yeah, it was funny. As much as, the YouTube world, it's like, if you and I sit, chances are our conversation is going to be split halfway between gear and bands.
Yeah.
But it's like gear, bands, and YouTube now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So has anybody got any other questions for Ben or myself? We've been going for a long time, Ben. I don't know if you're...
Yeah, even with the break. Yeah, we're at about 2 hours between the two spots.
Yeah, if you're running out of fuel, just let me know.
Hey, I was asleep before we came on, remember?
See, you're revved up, hey, buddy.
I'm rested up. I'm drinking Pepsi. We've already got through at least 1 can's worth, so that's more caffeine and sugar I usually drink.
Oh,
and I don't have to be anywhere.
Sorry, BV Ninja, going back to that Jimmy Page biography, he says it's the definitive biography by Chris Salowitz. So that's something to check out. Yeah, Ben, I subscribed to you years ago. I just discovered the Guitar Hack.
Oh, cool.
Cool, Gussie. Thank you so much, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ben is, I mentioned this at the top in the previous show that got booted. Yeah, Ben's sort of the reason why I'm doing this. He's to blame. So, Ben, like my face is up here. Ben's like...
Nice.
Yeah, only one.
Let's see. Yes, I know this one, Suave Trainwreck. How many guitar players does it take to screw in a light bulb? It only takes one, but all the rest of them will tell them how they could do it better.
Hey, Bruce is leaving.
See you, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce. Take care, buddy. Thanks for popping in, man. Appreciate it.
Send me a message tomorrow, Bruce.
Yeah. We have a whole lot more drummer jokes than we have guitar players.
Oh, I got a lot of drummer jokes.
Lots of drummer jokes.
And none of them are nice.
No, none of them are good. Yeah, so feel free to. It looks like Ben's still got some fuel left in the tank, so I'm good for another few minutes too, because I'm a little wiped out. I didn't have a nap before the show, but I can go for a little bit longer. Drummer jokes. Let's hear them. Okay, we got.
All right. The first one. What did the drummer get on his IQ test? Drool.
Bum. There's one.
How do you know when the drum riser's level? Drools out of both sides evenly.
Bum. There's two.
How do you know when a drummer's at your door? He doesn't know when to come in.
There's three.
All right.
That's enough. We'll lay off the drummers now. Johan made an early Kiss guitar and bass tone vid today. I'll have to watch after.
Cool.
I got a friend that actually made like the Ace Frehley guitar. You know, the UFO with the lights on the outside?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the that's on New York. So what's that? His hit. Is it New York? Not New York Groove. Yeah, Back in the New York Groove. That's right.
Which was a cover, right? Yeah.
Which was a cover of Argent, I think.
Yeah, because I only knew Ace Frehley's version. Which, you know, it's funny. I always thought when those 4 solo albums came out that Ace's was hands above everyone else. And then when you read Ace's book, you understand why Ace's album was hands above everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, like, sure, we know Eddie Kramer produced it. Mm-hmm. You know, we had Anton Fig doing the drum work.
Yeah.
You know, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that I didn't know, well, you know, because we're all so young when that stuff came. Well, I was really young because I was catching it, you know, after the fact. But
right.
I always knew it was hands above. But then when you read Ace's book and he's like, he was already looking at his exit from the band. And he's like, you know, you guys don't want my songs that I wrote on the Kiss albums? Screw you. I'll show you when we do a solo album.
This is freaking me out. The guy that I mentioned that made the Ace Frehley guitar, Gussie knows who he is.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because he's a local guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know Joe. Yeah, I know Joe well, actually. Joe works on my guitars at times. Yeah, Joe's a good guy. He lives up in Orangeville.
Nice.
Yeah, well, small world, man. Oh,
really, my dad reconnected with a guitar builder friend of his, Grit Laskin. I don't know if that name rings a bell with you, but he's one of the premier inlay guys.
No.
He did all the inlay work for Larrivee guitars.
Larry, okay.
Yeah, like, it's like, you know, you buy those guitar books, like, say, in the 80s, and they'd have all these beautiful inlay up the whole flipping neck.
See, American Devil's is leaving.
Yeah.
Take care, buddy.
Devil? Hey, Jimmy T.
Yeah,
Jimmy T. Have you seen the Little Bone fret file? I know of it.
So Gussie,
was at Joe's house a few days ago.
Holy crap, man! This is crazy. That is crazy. Small world. So going back to the Kiss solo stuff, it's funny because on my last live stream, or my last actually hangout, when the first one I did with the EJ, the Kiss came up, and
right.
He was trying to stump me with Kiss questions, and that's, you know,
yeah. Good luck with that. Yeah, I know. Okay, I was in the chat for that part, and I'm just like,
oh. No.
You know, Kiss's original name. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wrote Shandy or who recorded Shandy? Like, come on. Anyways, but getting back to that, yeah, Ace
BB's headed out as well. See you, BB.
Oh, see you, BB.
Yeah, it's 3:30 in the morning where he is. So.
Oh wow, Jesus, and he's still up. Yeah, I'll venture to say that I like Paul Stanley's record just as much as I like Ace's, because Ace was a straight ahead rock record, but Paul Stanley's record is absolutely.
He is an underrated guitar player.
It's songwriter, singer, I was watching.
was it like the Ernie Ball string theory that they do? You know, a little 5-minute video.
Yeah, and he's playing all the Kiss riffs.
Yeah, and he's sitting there, but it was the noodling in between.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, whoa, 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 like back up the train. You know, what were you doing right there? You know? Yeah, very underrated.
Yeah. Too easy for you, huh, guitar hack? Yeah, Jimmy T was trying to yeah, he was testing my Kiss knowledge. I don't know a lot, but what I do know, I know well. Paul Stanley's solo, awesome. Yeah, Paul Stanley's solo record. Yeah, I don't want to start talking about Kiss because I'll be here for the next 3 days. But
well, I will say he took a real chance, and it was good timing. There was that lull prior to the first reunion in the mid '90s. It was almost like Kiss stepped back and said, "Let grunge do its thing for 2 or 3 years." And we had the opportunity to have Paul Stanley in Toronto for a year doing Phantom of the Opera.
I saw that show twice. I met him actually a couple of times. Got a bunch of stuff signed. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, I'll tell you something about Paul Stanley. I mean, he would come out, and it was known. This wasn't a secret. At the end of the show, if you hung around the stage door, he fully knew that there was people out there waiting for him. And he would come out, and he would just literally, he walked out the backstage door, he raised his hands, he goes, okay, just tell me what you want. I'll sign whatever you want. Take photos, whatever. Just like that.
Nice.
And I had a tour book, the Psycho Circus tour book, which he signed for me, shook his hand. Like, for me, that guy was my idol since I was, I don't know, 11 years old. It was him and Ace Frehley.
Well, he was a heck of a front man, other than he really didn't understand the dynamics of a microphone. You know, like you watch the live clips, and he's constantly turning his head, and the vocal gone, you know?
Well, the Ace is terrible for that. Yeah.
Oh, did you see the latest Ace Frehley thing? He'll come to your wedding for $6 grand.
Saw that today. Yeah.
You know, and people are like, "Oh, what a crock, money grab," and I was just like, you know what? If I was getting hitched for $6 grand, you know, it'd be like, you know, your bride is like, well, my wedding dress is going to be $8,000. You're like, well, guess what? I'm spending $6, and Ace is going to be my best man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm doing just. Not so much that you have Ace Frehley as your best man, but I want to hear the best man speech at the reception.
Yeah, we'll be reading them off a card. Who are you again? Yeah. Did the check clear?
Who wants to hear a cold gin? I do.
Johnny Beane says, I really dig Kiss these days. The early stuff. Was never really a fan growing up, but saw them live in 90 and 96. Desmond wrote a lot of their hits.
Yep.
Yeah, Desmond, Heaven's on Fire, I Was Made for Loving You. Those were all Desmond Child songs. Yeah. Well,
I remember when I discovered Johnny Beane, he would talk about when he lived with Desmond. Actually, yeah, you're newer to the community.
I had no idea about that. I didn't know the Desmond connection. You know,
I talked about it a bit on his Hangout yesterday.
Yeah,
which I was watching again today, or still watching, because they went 4 hours, so we got nothing. Yeah. Johnny, when he was in one of his bands, he relocated to Miami, and he lived with Desmond Child for a period of time. And so I knew the name because, you know, we're of the generation that you would put on the album and sit there, stare at the album cover for maybe 5 minutes, and then flip it over, and you read every name.
Yeah.
You know, and like I used to like doing is the thank yous.
Yeah.
You know, especially a first album, because you read the thank yous, and about 30 names in, you would see a thank you to, you know, another famous guitarist. Well, then you find out down the road, well, they gave them some money to put their demo together. You know, like Van Halen would thank Gene Simmons, you know, for instance.
Yeah. Gene Simmons did the original Van Halen demo in 1977, I believe. Yeah.
Which I still get a kick out of Gene bringing Van Halen to Bill O'Coin, and Bill O'Coin went, I really like them, but I can't stand their singer. You know who you should get? Sammy Hagar just left Montrose. You should get Sammy Hagar. And who knew that, 8 years later, or even 6 years later, or whatever the time frame was, that Sammy ended up would join.
You know what? I mean, you're getting me on the Kiss now. I can't stop. I met Bill O'Coin and in person, and I talked to him for a bit, and he's one of those most gracious, nicest people you ever want to meet. I mean, he's passed away, but what a phenomenal guy Bill O'Coin.
Yeah. See, it's funny because it's like, as much as I like watching documentaries on bands, I love watching documentaries on the business. You know, like a Bill O'Coin documentary or whomever. Stuff like that.
You know that he's responsible for Billy Idol too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after Kiss, it was Billy Idol. Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, he was a great dude. He all, like way back then, all the bands that were coming up, Piper, which became what's his name? Billy Squire. That's where Billy Squire came from. He was in a band called Piper. That was Bill Aucoin. A band called Stars that never quite made it big here. There was a lot of bands that they were like sort of a Angel, which was supposed to be the other version of Kiss, the white version of Kiss, because they were all dressed in white and angelic, and Kiss was dark and gloomy.
Right.
Yeah, he that was all Bill Aucoin. Like, he built sort of a whole stable of bands, and some of them went on, but Kiss was by far the most successful of his stable. And then he started with Billy Idol. By that time, he was already off of Kiss. So
it's done with Billy Idol. Now, for a guy that was in a very lesser known
Generation X
band, yeah, Generation X,
yeah,
that never really did anything because, let's be honest, if they did anything, it'd still be on the radio.
They had
Dancing with Myself.
They had one song, "Kiss Me Deadly."
Did they do "Kiss Me Deadly"?
That was them, yeah.
Okay, and Dancing with Myself, but I don't even know if they put it out as a single.
Dancing with Myself, I don't know if he was still in Gen X. I think that was his first solo.
Yeah, because I have a Gen X album that has it on it, as well as Billy Idol's first album. He put it on it as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, his first, like the self-titled solo album. But, like you say, for like a punk rock singer, relocates to New York, gets Steve Stevens behind him, really wasn't punk. It was 80s produced, kind of like Big Audio Dynamite went after the Clash. That pop punk, which wasn't a term that wasn't used for another 20 years.
Yeah, and it was danceable too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Beane says Bill Aucoin watched us play one night. He was smoking a cigar at the front table and told us we needed more beer bottles on stage and less water bottles.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gotta fit the image, Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always fill those beer bottles with water.
So, Johnny, since you're in the chat, let me ask you, I'd love to have you on and just, you having a relationship with Desmond Child. I'm sure you got a fantastic history if you're willing to share it. I'd love to have you on, man. That'd be a fantastic, because that's what I like doing. I was saying earlier, getting other YouTube people on and just, finding out where they're coming from in their background. We heard Ben's biography in the earlier part of this.
And I like that idea too. For the, I guess, Paul Lewis headed out. See you, Paul.
See you, Paul.
Yeah, because like if I'm say hosting a hangout and I have you on, I want to talk about you, right?
Yeah.
Or if I have Johnny on, I want to talk about Johnny as much as and that's the idea. But generally, it's like when you mess with me, you go like, you got any topics? I'm like, let's just go live, and because it's more natural that way. I like having no plan.
Yeah.
Like last night, when Shane jumped in, he goes, okay, like, what are we going to be talking about? And I said, well, we can touch on your trip to Denmark. He just went off. And of course, he had GitCon coming up. So we can talk about that. But other than that, let's just shoot the breeze. Let's see how the chat goes.
Yeah.
Because I find, you can get a topic come up in the chat, which will take the show in a completely different direction for the next 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Old man.
Yeah, just wing it. Exactly. Old man Dan. I do notes. I do take down notes for the Thursday show because I try to do a news portion and I have a terrible memory. So I will put down notes, or there is specific things I want to mention because that's the big weekly show. But the rest of the time, wing it.
Yeah. Well, I had a couple of things I wanted to cover with you. I just want to make sure that you were cool with it before.
Oh, yeah.
Before we.
So there you go. Johnny said, "Let him know when it's good."
Yeah, let me know when it's good. Yeah. Okay, Johnny, I got to get your contact information.
Easiest way would probably be like if you friend him on Facebook, find him on my friends list.
Okay. Yeah, I will do that. Definitely.
If Johnny's cool with that. Yeah.
Appreciate that, Johnny. That'd be great, man. Yeah. And there was something, something I was going to say, and it slipped.
Well, I see you got distracted. We got a star in the chat.
Yes, we have a very famous Johnny Beane in the chat. Now, as soon as I heard that Desmond Child, I'm like, Desmond Child. You hear the backstory of, because I've read so much about Desmond Child because Desmond Child and Paul Stanley were buddies.
Yeah.
right? And they used to go out to clubs together and stuff in the 80s and that. So,
right. And then after Desmond, well, still working with Kiss, then he basically gave Bon Jovi all their hits.
Bon Jovi, that's right. Yeah, and Bon Jovi was opening for Kiss. Yep. So I wonder if that's how they...
I thought Gene put money into Bon Jovi as well.
No.
Like to get them started. Or maybe it was Cinderella.
Not that I'm aware.
It was another New Jersey band, I thought.
Gene put money in Gene produced bands in the early 80s. Bands like Peel, House of Lords. Those were Gene bands. Also that female singer, Doro Pesh. Those were...
Yeah, she's still touring.
Yeah, and he produced a Wendy O. Williams record and actually had Ace Frehley play on it and Eric Carr. Yeah.
Which is funny. Bringing in Ace to play on something since he used to bring in Bob Kulick to play for Ace.
Yeah, well, yeah. And you know what's funny? One of the best Kiss songs ever is on the Wendy O. Williams.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because it's Ace. Gene wrote it. Ace is playing on it. And it's probably it would have been a fantastic Kiss song, but Ace wasn't even in the band at that point, right?
Right.
You know. Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah, Johnny's everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do that. I will definitely do that. Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny's a good hangout.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. You've been a great hangout. This has been cool, man. This has been
great.
Johnny
start talking about Andy Summers, and there's an hour right there.
Yeah. Well, I'll find out if there's an Andy. I know he's a big fan of Andy Summers. I got that from watching the chat. Okay, we got 16 people watching. So thanks for hanging in with us. I apologize again for the earlier mishap with the internet. I have no idea what happened. I just all of a sudden I couldn't get in. It just kicked me right out. So, but I managed to get back in. So thank you for being patient.
Yeah. I want to thank everyone for tuning in too. This has been cool. Like a lot of familiar names, and I think I saw 1 or 2 new ones in there as well. Yeah,
you know what you do that's cool. Ben is thanking all new subscribers. Half the time I'll see new subscribers popping up, but I don't always see who it is.
Right.
You know, sometimes I guess there's something
you get a notification if you have your subscriber list set to public.
I do.
Okay. So that means if you subscribe me, I'll get a notification. The Guitar Hack is subscribing.
Okay.
But if you keep your list private, you get no notification. You'll just happen to notice your subscribers went up by 1 somehow, some way.
Yeah, because
that happened to me. Again, spending the weekend with Shane, essentially, between his channel and mine.
Right.
My channel had become a little stagnant over the last week, so I was actually dropping subscribers.
Yeah.
Like I find I'll gain 2 one day, lose 1 another day. Kind of thing. And so it had been going steadily down, not gaining. And I hadn't been putting out a lot of content the last week or so. I've been busy, right? I'm helping out Rich somewhat with the wedding prep, working the day job, whatever. And then all of a sudden I go between going on with Shane on Saturday and then doing my show with him last night, and Steve again jumping in. And Shane was nice enough to share it. We had a lot of new people in. I've gained almost 20 subscribers in 48 hours.
That's awesome.
I know. Like, I understand if you got 100,000, because the ratio, an extra 20, you're not really going to notice it. But you would think you would grow at that rate when you already have 100,000, for instance. But
yeah,
like I'm up to what I think 454 today. So
that's good, man.
Awesome. Yeah, and I appreciate each and every subscription because I notice each and every one. Like say,
Yeah. Well, from the time in July that we met, I think when I met you, I was around 40 some, and right. I think we hit 137 today.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember that because we're talking about you're thinking about going live, and we had been chatting. I said, yeah, you're a cool guy, and he said, any chance I could get a shout out? I said, make sure to be in the bloody chat tonight. And as soon as you showed up on the chat, I said, everybody, go subscribe. And I think you got like a dozen subs or something, and you went, that was crazy. I said, no, that's our community.
It's been, the community is fantastic. And I mean, I was on a Dave Byron chat like a couple of weeks ago, and all of a sudden, everybody's just subbing everybody. It was a free-for-all. So I kind of picked up a bunch there, it's kind of cool. Dave Byron is a guy I got to get on, man. I'd love to hear his history, man. Because he's been around. He said the other day he was mentioning he started playing in like early 70s, like
74. I think he started playing the same year I was born.
Yeah, so I'd love to. I'm sure that guy's got some great war stories. Love to have him.
Mayhem says it's apparently 138 subs.
Oh, I hit. Well, okay, so I picked another one up. That's fantastic. Yeah, awesome. Non-pretentious material. You guys see, that's what this is all about. If you
like,
you know, if you read,
I can develop an ego saying, "Hey, I'm better than." Sorry, I'm going to throw you under the bus, Mayhem. I'm better than Absolute Mayhem because he's just getting back into playing. He's a bedroom player. I'm out doing gigs. Well, you know what? Eddie Van Halen can put me in my place in 0.2 of a second. Right? So it's all relative, and that's the thing to keep up. You know,
if you read the description of my channel, it clearly says, I mean, there's a reason why I call myself Guitar Hack. You know, I mean, it's just I'm just hacking. I'm trying like everybody else.
You know, I swear I deserve nothing in life. Everything that I get out of doing this YouTube thing is all a bonus. It's all a gift. You know, and it's simple as meeting new friends. You know, like the fact that I know that if I'm gigging in the West End of Toronto and you're off and something happens, I can call you up and say, "Hey, buddy, you know, do you have an extra patch cable? I'm 2 hours from." Yeah, I'll be there in half an hour.
No worries, I'm there. So yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you know, it seems like Bruce, who's left now, you know, it was Bruce and Black EDH that wanted me to go to Gearfest at Sweetwater. You know, we looked at the logistics, and I tell you, you know, we hung out for 3 days together. What a blast! Because we've done off-air hangouts with Bruce and I. You know, like he'll call me up, and we'll do an hour chat or something, video chat or something like that. And he's been obviously on my channel a bunch of times. And but to meet up in person, it's just that little bit better. Like when we met up, you know, and I was like, this is cool. I have a new friend, you know, and it's someone, you know, it's like, well, did you get to know the guy? Well, it doesn't matter. We're players. We just talk gear. You know, it's like someone can ask me, well, what does he do for a day job? I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Is he married? I don't know. Does he have kids? I don't know. Yeah. I don't care. You know, I know he plays Les Pauls. He likes them. Yeah. That's what I'm into.
That's pretty clear, yeah. Well, you know, the cool thing is, too, like, I just recently bought the webcam so that they can do this kind of thing, but I was getting invites to be on people's live chats. Like, as soon as I started going live, you know, doing my weekly show, like, immediately, I'm like, oh, you guys want my mug on your screen? Okay, no worries, you know. And it's fun. It's like, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I like doing my live stream and, you know, talking to people on the live chat, but the Google thing the Hangout is really cool too, man. It's just a lot of fun, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny too because when I was doing the Hangout on Shane's channel, Mitch Heyman, if you're still watching, he made the he said the line. He goes, "Wow, all the stars are on here tonight. You know, we got Shane, we got the Tone King, we got Ben, and then you got the rest of us."
Yeah, the rest of us.
And I'm like, I don't know if I'm quite in the same field. Like, other than the fact that I have an active channel that I'm consistently producing content, I guess in that respect, yes, you can lump me in with Shane and Lewis, but they've been doing it 10 years. I haven't even been doing it 10 months.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So Absolute Mayhem says, I can't wait until the next time Guitar Hack is around the area. I'd love to meet. Yeah, we could do that.
This coming weekend, Mayhem, he's playing at the Ganaraska Hotel.
Yeah.
I'm at the Port Hope. I can never remember which.
Port Hope.
Port Hope. So that's about an hour up the road for Mayhem. Because I think it's 40 minutes for me. Yeah, about an hour and 15, because it's 40 minutes to Port Hope for me. And it's about 40 minutes for me to Mayhem's place. So
yeah. So you know what, Ben, I don't know how I'm gonna pull that one off, man. I told you
shows in one day.
One day, man.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm nuts, man. I mean, I'm an old guy too.
Well, 52. There is a way. Not legal. I can tell you off air.
So yeah, so just let me just share this with everybody. So because I've never done this before, this is kind of nuts. So that we're playing at this place out. It's at least an hour and a half away from me, at least. And we're doing 2 shows in the same day on this coming Saturday. So we're playing from about 2 to 5 in the afternoon, and then we return to the same place and play from I think 10 to 2 from 10 to 2 a.m. So we're doing 2 gigs on the same day at this one place. And then I got to drive an hour and a half to get back home. So we're looking at I'm home at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, if you had a room, I would definitely go take a nap, but you would never get a nap in.
No. And there's a couple of guys that are staying overnight. The drummer and the singer, they were.
The only recommendation I can say is between the hours of 5 and 10, stay off your feet as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Just rest your legs.
We're going to do that for dinner, and and you know what? I haven't even looked at this place on YouTube to see what it looks like. I don't know if it's a big place, a small place. I have no idea.
It's been 15 years since I've been there.
Oh, my wife just popped in the chat. She's asking if you have a bed for me. Ben and Hack, excellent job, fellas. Thanks, Gussie. Too cheap to get a room.
Yeah, I wish I did.
Well, my wife's saying I'm too cheap to get a room. My argument with that is like, well, you know how little we get for doing all that, eh, Ben?
Yep.
I'm going to blow all my winnings on a room. I'm going to come back empty-handed.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What's the point of even doing it, right? I need that cigar money.
Yeah, and besides, you're only going to be in the room for a few hours, right? Because you're going to get there around 3, and you're back out by 9 or 10.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. At least the 401 will be.
Yeah, I'd rather just grab a coffee, hit the highway, and even if you got to pull over and rest your eyes for an hour,
Yeah, I think I'll be fine. I mean, I'm gonna sleep in on the Saturday. I don't have to be there till about 10 noon or something. So it'll work out. It's just it's an adventure, something we've never done before, man. That's a crazy day. That's gonna be. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I think we got 16 people watching. I think I'm gonna call it a night.
It's been going a while.
Almost. It's like 9:47. I think I started. Well, we started at 7. We're going to 3 hours here.
Yeah. I've been going almost straight through. You got a little break there.
Yeah. My break was running around like a chicken without a head trying to get this thing
going. Fortunately, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but fortunately, when you did drop out, as soon as I realized it, I went, okay. And I said, can you still at least hear me? Because I had no video. And then people in the chat were saying, yes, we can still hear you. Immediately, it became a Ben Coombs live Q&A. I'm like, ask away, we'll talk, whatever, and I just basically did it like a solo Q&A, and which is kind of fortunate because you could have somebody else on, and if you drop out, and they're just looking around, sitting in silence or something,
But thanks for filling in the dead air while I'm trying to get everything going. Oh, I know what I was going to say to you. Did you want to mention, as I kind of teased it the other day.
Oh, yeah, and this would be a good platform. So my schedule is a little crazy for the next few days, folks. We usually do a show Thursdays at 8 p.m. Don't expect one this week. However, we may do. It all depends on, like, we're in an Airbnb. If they have Wi-Fi that's decent, then we may do some form of a show because there is 4 of us that play there. So we'd have 3 guitar players and a bass player. So we could maybe just do a quick little deal. Maybe even go live for 5-10 minutes, even on data, just to say hi to everyone. This coming Sunday, who knows? I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in, so who knows? But the following Thursday, which I believe is October 4th.
October 4th, yeah.
Let's go with that. 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be back. Richie isn't getting back from his honeymoon till approximately 9:30, 10 o'clock, he figures, so he won't be around. So we have the guitar hack himself filling in Richie's role. So expect a guitar hack rant at some point. I'll find something that really burns you up, right? I'll be like, what's your opinion on this? I'm like, boom, there's the weekly rant. So yeah, we'll do a hangout. We'll talk gear and stuff like that. So that's, 10 days away. So I'm looking forward to that. I will say I did put a feeler out to one other person. He's got a fairly big YouTube channel and he's Canadian. So I thought I'd offer it to him. It's been a while since we've done a hangout, but he declined for some personal reasons, which was fine, obviously. And then immediately you were my first, not even my second thought, you were my 1B because we have a rapport, and I dig that. So
That's
It's
awesome.
all about the positive vibes, and if there's positive vibes, it looked like folks here are having a great time tonight in the chat. So why not?
When you posted it to me, it's like, yeah, man, I'm there. That was
fun.
And
like you always blame me for starting this whole live thing anyway. So payback is you got to do duty on my show.
No worries, buddy. I'm there, man. No worries. Yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. Good times. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to say thanks to Mr. Ben Coombs for coming on and hanging out and putting up with the technical issues earlier. And everyone that's in the chat, you're all saying goodbye to each other. R2R3, take care. Old man Dan, Pepper Borges, which is my mate. Good night. Amanda, thanks for watching. Johnny Beane, I'm going to get on your Facebook and I will contact you, sir.
Mayhem.
Yeah, Marco's Images. Just going back here. Absolute Mayhem. Old Man Dan. Arvon, thanks for watching. This is cool. Thank you so much, everybody. This was a lot of fun, man.
Leave a thumbs up on your way out. Make sure you're subscribed to Pepper. Make sure that bell's rung.
Yeah.
So you get notified whenever he goes live or uploads some content.
Yeah, please subscribe. Subscribe to Canucks with Guitars if you haven't already. And
after the fact, if you want to put a link to the channel down below after the fact.
Yeah, I'll do that. And we'll catch you all on Thursday because I'll be on. Ben will be on right afterwards. So.
Well, maybe.
Oh, that's sorry. Not this Thursday. That's right. Sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see my mug. Ben's will.
Yeah, and you get to do double duty the following week, right? You get a brief. You'll have half an hour to have a snack or a drink or something, and then. I don't know. I may not. I don't know. I got to think about that. I may just do yours. We'll see how it goes. There we go.
All right. Okay, folks. Take care. Have a good night. Have a good rest of the week.
Rock on.
Cheers.
Peace.